Live streaming is on.
Took it long enough. All right, and it says we are live on YouTube. Though I'm not seeing anything in the little box. There we go. We are live on the YouTubes. So, hello. Welcome to This Week Unloaded. Episode, what the hell episode is this? 103. And let's see. Go back over here. Tonight we have with us Jason Stewart. How are you tonight?
Oh, I'm hanging in there, Rich. Thanks for the invite. Hello, everybody on YouTube's.
Yep. And next we got the New York Outcast, who may also be known as Rob D. Unless it's Roberta D. I don't know. We'll find out. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Thanks. That's a heck of an intro there, buddy. Thanks.
Yeah,
I'm sitting
tired.
here comfortably numb, and you're screwing it up.
Yeah,
not cool.
I'm tired, man. Leave me alone. See, out there on the YouTube side so far, we have Southpaw RX. How you tonight there, Southpaw? So,
hey, Southpaw.
You know what I went and did today? I went and violated my own advice to you, Jason. I went and bought a new computer now, but I have to. Because my current one, the battery is starting to die, and if it dies, it's going to kill the whole thing.
Oh, yeah? What'd you get?
I just bought a prefab Asus Rogue.
After that whole show with you getting on people.
So you bought a laptop?
No, I bought it's a desktop. It's a small one of the smaller.
Is it AMD?
Yeah, it's a Ryzen 7 3700X in it. But I didn't have a choice because if this dies, I'm screwed. So I had to have something to right now.
Hey, mine's about ready to die, man. When you first turn the computer on and it goes to, the first thing and you got to choose, you just click U. It's got your name, user, whatever. You click on it. I had to make a second one. It fails to load. An error thing comes up, says will not load this user or something like that. And so I added like a new person and I come in on that one, but it's like all my stuff's gone, all the programs and stuff I had on the screen.
Yeah, it sounds like your account's corrupt. Your first account might be corrupted.
Well, yeah, it had like we had a blue screen of death one time when I was in the chat, and when it came back on, it was talking about corrupted master bootleg files and a bunch of stuff like that. So,
yeah,
I think I got some damage.
Yeah, it sounds like it's just your account is the issue, not the whole computer. Because if something like that scenario where it's saying this file's corrupted and that file's corrupted, it's something to do with your account file. So what you're going to do, like you already did, is make a new account and then go into your program, or go into the My Computer or this PC. It used to be My Computer. It's this PC now on Windows 10. But you click on that, and if you open up like your C drive, you'll see that all your stuff's still there. You just got to make new shortcuts for it.
Yeah, I saw that. I went to my hard drive and saw stuff that I had saved that I didn't want to lose. Yeah, I seen that.
If you go with like the users, you'll see your old account. You click on that. If it's still intact enough, you'll see where you can like copy everything out of your documents folder and everything to the one on the new account. So you can just cut and paste all that stuff too, so you don't lose any of that. Like if you have any like tax documents or anything in there that you need to save, like that kind of thing, they'll still be there. You can just copy them over to the other account. In that case, it would just be better to cut and paste it. That way you're not wasting space by having it in that old corrupted account still. And once you get all that stuff moved over, you can just delete the old account.
Yeah, this is an
old login, actually.
Old computer, man. It's got Windows 7 on it. It's a quad core, but it's an AMD quad core.
Yeah, my advice is still, if you can wait, do it next year. Like I said, I didn't really have a choice in this situation because the warning I'm getting, if the warning is correct, because it could be a false warning too, because I know how to stop it from happening. If it happens, if it does it again the next time something happens, then it might actually be the problem. So that's, but I just went and got ahead of the problem. Just went ahead and ordered something just to have it on hand in case it does die. And it's going to be a better computer than what I have now, either way. So, but I would have rather have waited. I was hoping I would have been able to wait, but with what was going on with it, it's not worth the risk.
Damn hypocrite.
Shit anymore, man. You can't wait. If you see something, you got to get it. Stuff's not gonna be in stock, or stuff's gonna be shut down because of COVID. So
Yeah,
I mean,
so I was
sometimes
saying,
you ain't got enough time to wait.
yeah, so I said, if you can wait till next year, wait till next year to start buying when prices normalize and manufacturing's back up to snuff. Because at some point next year, beginning of next year, everything's going to start going back to normal when they start distributing this vaccine and everything. Because that's just how it's going to work. Whether it's all the big scam or what have you, by the beginning of next year, at least by March, everything's going to start back to normal. So, if you can wait that long, then do so. If you absolutely have to buy something now, I'm not going to tell you not to, because you might not have a computer if you wait. If it absolutely comes down to something like my situation.
Man, I know I've been seeing some pretty nice TVs for cheap prices this year.
Yeah,
Hell, even like the
prices,
Kroger's grocery store had 60-inch RCAs. I don't know how good RCA is anymore. Ain't been around for a while, but still, at least it's not like Fujimaka brand or something. But it was 60-inch 7K RCA TVs, and it was $229.
Yeah, RCA pretty much now is just a name. They're not.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the prestige that it once did.
A friend of mine was trying all Black Friday to get her a new TV. She had her eyes set on one from Walmart. Uh, it was a 55-inch, but it was only like $150.
Yeah, TVs. Two of your best brands are going to be Korean: Samsung and LG. I have one of each, and they're both really nice TVs. The one in the bedroom's a Samsung, one in the living room's an LG.
I always had good luck with a Sony TV.
Yeah, Sony's are good. Vizios are good. We've had Vizio in the past. And though we haven't had them die or anything, just when we got a new TV, like we upgraded the living room TV to a 42-inch 4K TV, we gave the Vizio that was in the living room to somebody. I mean, it was still in perfectly good condition. But we went decided because of what's going on with my eyes, we was a bigger screen and better resolution might be better for in the living room. So we just got the bigger TV than what we had for in the living room. And like I said, that Vizio TV was still working just like the day we got it. Nothing wrong with it.
I had an RCA TV or two back, obviously flat screen or whatever. I don't even remember the size, but basically that TV went through hell. Went through kids, water fights, all types of stuff. Surprised it survived. It lasted, I think, like 7 years until finally, like, the remote wouldn't work, and tried to get an aftermarket, it wouldn't work, and the buttons ended up getting used so long that they wore out, and I couldn't find a replacement for the buttons because it was all like a electrical strip, basically, that kind of glued on to the side like a little pad. So couldn't find any replacement parts, unfortunately, like like the old days. But needless to say, the TV still works. You just can't change the channel anymore. It's crazy. But it was a pretty good TV in my opinion, for RCA.
Yeah, I look at the TVs. I think they all look pretty good, as long as they got some type of name brand to them. I mean, it's hard to beat Walmart's prices on TVs. I mean, at least around here.
There's something you can look up, like especially with Walmart. A lot of the, especially Walmart, there's the code on them. There's like a serial number code on the back of the TVs. There's YouTube videos out for it, but like all like the Black Friday doorbuster, all that type of stuff. Walmart tends to like demand what they want for what price, and sometimes the items are skimmed. So if the first two letters are something or other, it means it was like a promotional deal, and usually it looks the same, like identical, but the inside's cheaper, so they can get it to you at that price point. So it's not the standard brand quality, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So there's little, like I said, it'll take you like less than 2 minutes to look up a thing and find the codes on YouTube or whatever. But
TVs are so cheap, though. I mean, like everything else in the world over the last 30 years is, tripled in price. Cars, anything. If you look at a TV, you go buy 3 great big TVs for the price of a cell phone, man. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, but in comparison, older TVs lasted.
Yeah, but I remember paying.
Years. I mean, there's still TVs that would
I remember paying huge money for, like, I remember when the big TV in the house was a 19-inch.
Yep.
And a 19-inch sitting in a wood console, that was like $1,000 TV back when you were lucky to make, $250 a week.
I remember those TVs still would work, though. That's kind of the difference.
Remember
there was a time when there was TVs that were guaranteed for life.
Yeah, remember the old
swapping tubes is cheap versus micro circuitry nowadays.
You guys remember the old projection screen TVs where it had a little control chair you had to sit in to control the color in it, where you would set the color and everything on the TV?
With the different bulbs?
Uh-huh.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had to replace bulbs for that, like places where people had like their little man caves and TVs and crap.
Clean the mirrors off.
Yeah,
mirrors
the
get all dusty.
Bulbs ain't worth the money. Buy the name brand one. I don't think anybody's messing with that nowadays, but back in the day, you can get the aftermarket bulbs for like a third of the price, but they didn't last for shit.
Man, I remember when we got our first TV that had a remote control, and it was like a 25, 50 foot long phone cord hooked to a clicker that went up and down.
That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was before the whatever wireless remote or whatever.
Yeah,
you had like a great big long clear SIM cord that went in your telephone.
Yep, that's why your grandparents called the remote the clicker, because that's what it was. That's what the original ones were. They clicked. Click, 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 click.
We only had like, you had like 13 channels, but like a couple of them it was the same show, even though it was on 2 different numbers. But you'd have to click, like go all the way through and all the way back down. It wasn't like typing in, give me channel 5 or nothing. You had to click all the way through.
Yeah, it's just like when you had to turn the dial, you had to turn the dial all the way through. God, remember the first cable sets before they were remotes, and you had like 100 channels you had to turn the dial through to get what you were trying to watch?
See, I grew up in a house where like every night of the week almost had like a different channel. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And like you turn it and put it on that channel and never touch that TV again. They felt like if you touched the knobs or touched or done anything, you're going to break it. There wasn't no channel surfing back there. I mean, you didn't touch the damn TV.
Yeah. Snob says his dad's TV had a wireless remote when he was a kid. Its name was Kent. If you don't realize that, Kent is Gunsnob's first name. You didn't know, so there's
Yeah.
there, folks.
Had a lot of black and white TVs too, man. Little small 10, 12 inches. I ain't kidding. I'm not joking. I remember when like 19-inch was like a big TV. It's like that's like in the good living room and shit.
Yeah, I had a 20-inch black and white TV in my bedroom. So yeah, but when you were a kid, you were the remote control. Go put this channel on. Go put that channel on. I know exactly what Snob is talking about because I went through that too. Even though
I had a normal damn remote, but
yeah,
TVs have changed a lot, but they were a lot, I don't know, a lot more reliable than what you get nowadays. Nowadays, it's like a throwaway TV.
Yeah, the first cable box we had a dial on it with a switch on top between A and B, and you would flip depending on what you wanted to watch. You had to flip the A from A to B or B to A, and then turn the dial through all the channels like you would with a regular dial on your TV set. You ended up with a sore wrist some nights. Go put this channel on. Go put this channel on. Go put this channel. Should have got hazard pay for having turned that damn dial on that cable box. Wonder how many kids ended up with carpal tunnel because of those damn things. But then they came out with the remote cable box after that.
Yeah, our town crawled out of the Stone Ages when they got a cable box, went to like 28 stations and gave us MTV.
Yeah, DJ Play Nice says hooking up the Atari to the antenna post on the back. Yep. And you had to flip the switch on it to turn it on. From TV to what was it? Computer, I think is how they had it referred to. Even though it was a 2600, but the TRS-80 computer we had to work the same way. It had that same box. Maybe that's why ours said computer. But it was the same damn thing. It had the same plug as what the Atari had, so they were interchangeable.
We had the Coleco Vision that like burnt the pattern of Pong into your TV screen.
Well, any of those old CRT TVs would do it. You get burned into any of those old CRT TVs. That's why they or computer monitors. That's why screensavers became a thing. It was constantly in motion, so it didn't burn into your screen. It was to protect your TV or computer monitor.
Hey, are you keeping up with the chat out there? There's lots of people.
Yeah.
And Squib said check your email.
Yep, he's wanting the link, I think.
What's up, people?
Yep, Squibby's wanting a link. Who just jumped in here? I didn't pay attention. Oh, nobody. That was just Rob being silly. Okay. Oh, what the fuck is the link here? Oops, I said a bad word.
This was supposed to be a family show.
Nuh-uh, it's a legitimate business. You don't talk about family business in public, Jason.
You don't talk bad about the family.
You broke my heart, Fredo. Where are we going with this?
Did you send Squib a link?
Yeah, I think I did.
That's cool. I wanted to ask him. I think he was saying he got a deer.
Did he?
I saw a couple nice buck on the way home tonight, standing right there at the edge of the road. I had to slow down for one, and it was like driving through the drive-through petting zoo. I bet if I'd have rolled down my window, I could have fed him something.
Yeah, Snob says
Should have whacked the head and then just threw it in the back of the truck.
Yeah, this one caught me off guard. There was a pretty good size one I saw, but he was standing in the dark at the edge of the road. And then this was when I was almost home. I could see him jogging along the very edge of the road, like huffing. I could tell by the look at him, and up the back of his neck, I could tell that was a trotting buck. And I was like, man, he looks pretty big. When I got up to him, he had a large body, had a lot of weight on him. He looked really good for the deer around here, and he was only a 4-point buck.
Snob says he remembers when he was a teenager and got a Super Nintendo and a 13-inch color TV one year for Christmas. I was fans thought he was rich because he got that for his room. Man, I didn't get a Super Nintendo until I had moved out and bought it myself.
Yeah, he's a teenager. Wasn't that long ago for Snob.
Yeah, I know. Speaking of people whose screen names begin with S, Squib's in here now. How you, Squib?
Doing all right. Is there any echo from me?
Not so far.
Good. You never know with the earbuds that I use.
Hey, Squib, did you get a deer?
I did. I was fortunate. Actually, I got 2, but I only brought 1 home. Yeah, I got one with the Garand and one with the Henry, and the one with the Garand got away.
Well, congrats. That's awesome.
Thanks.
All in one day?
No. I made 2 different trips up north. Went up for a few days, came back downstate, went back up for a few more days. And, I was above the rifle line, so I could use the Garand, and I've always wanted a deer hunt with that. So I made up some loads for it and made sure it was sighted in and all that, and went out there, and it was eventful. And the neighbors found that buck 2 days later. The coyotes had tore it to pieces. We went out looking for it, and we were 25 feet away from it and didn't even know. That's, when they jump into the thick of that stuff, sometimes you can't see them. I mean, we had the lights on the ATVs, and we still didn't see it. And because we had permission to go into the neighbor's property to go look for it.
Yeah, look at Snob thinking he's. Look at Snob, that young whippersnapper, thinking he's older than what he is. Look at him.
Yeah, I think if there's a 3 at the beginning of your age, you have no idea what aches and pains are.
Let us know when you got a 4 instead of a 3 is the first number there.
Or a 5.
Yeah. Maybe then we can start taking you more serious when it comes to age.
Hey, that's what the elders used to do to me when I was in my 30s. They didn't want to hear no complaining about aches and pains. So did you make your own hunting rounds, Squib, or did you use Boughton?
No, I made them for the Garand and the Henry. That was just it. It might have been my fault with the Garand. I had 2 minutes left to shoot, and I started to. I should say I had a little bit more than 2 minutes when I saw the deer. When they were right in front of me, I had 2 minutes left that I could pull the trigger, and by then it was so dark. Everything was different shades of gray. It was dark gray, light gray. I could not see my front or rear sight on that rifle at all. And I just pointed in the direction of the deer, pulled the trigger, click. I'm like, are you kidding me? It was like in the end of Full Metal Jacket where he's behind the sniper and he pulls the trigger and there's nothing in it. And I don't know if it was a light primer strike or if it was a bad primer or something I did. Maybe I contaminated the primer, because on that same batch of ammo, I had the same thing happen at the range when I was sighting it in. I haven't taken apart the bolt to see if the firing pin's all gummed up or not. So here I am trying to pull, the deer looks up at me, just looks right at me, and I just freeze. And when the deer sticks its head back down, I'm pulling this bolt back as quietly as I can. And you know how you gotta kind of give it a little bit of a jerk there at the back to get that cartridge to pop free? So I'm trying to catch it, and I'm like, what am I going to do with this thing? And I don't want to, put it in my pocket and have it fall on the floor of the blind. So I'm like, screw it. I just stuck it in my mouth. And then, so now I'm trying to push the bolt forward. I'm trying to control it to make sure it strips one off the end block clip. And I get the bolt right there where it's at the chamber. And I smack the handle to make sure it's seated on the chamber. The deer looks up at me again. And I just freeze. I wait and I wait. And the deer looks back down. And then I line back up and I let it rip. A muzzle flash. And the deer just looked up at me. And the one trail cam got footage of the other 2 deer that were with him. And they were looking around, like, where was that? Where was that? And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I missed. He was 30 yards in front of me, but he was dead on. So I aimed for his chest because it was a lighter gray, and it was the biggest target I had, but I had no sight. So it was just sort of instinct shooting with a rifle. And the deer didn't run off. None of them did. So I just said, screw it. And I let the other 3 rip. So I put 4 in his general direction, and they all took off towards the neighbors. And we tried tracking it on foot. We didn't find a blood trail. So we went and got the ATVs, and we went over to the neighbor's property and couldn't find anything. And 2 days later, the neighbor called and said, hey, there's a 6-point that the coyotes tore apart. And when he said right where it was, we were 25 feet away from there. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So at some point, I got to get the bolt taken apart and see if it's all gummed up. If not, then that was on me. But it wouldn't have made a difference. I couldn't see, I had 2 minutes left to shoot, and I spent a minute clearing this. And so I had a minute left, and I hit it, but didn't bring it home. A couple days later, I was in another blind in another part of the property with the Henry. That's got a scope on it, so I wasn't worried about it getting dark. I was hunting in the woods, and I'm used to hunting in a cornfield, so it's not as open. When it gets dark fast. And was 6 deer come up on me, but I could only see the lead 3. And I said, well, I got to go home with something. So I hit it, and it ran about 50 yards and just went straight down. And I got it right above the shoulder. And when I went out there to make sure, I could find where it was, try to leave a trail in the snow so we could find it with the ATV lights later, the other 2 that were with it were standing there frozen. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And then they took off running. Well, the other 3 that were behind it that I didn't know about took off running to where my friend was hunting and ran right past him. So we went back later and looked on the trail cams and all that. And yeah, you just in the forest, it's different. You just cannot see as much. I had one morning walk in front of me, and it was about 50 yards out. I could hit him. Well, I think it was a buck. That was just it. The trees were so thick that the best shot I could have got was in the right thigh. Well, I'm not going to hit the deer there and have it run off. I won't get it. I won't. I might be able to follow a blood trail, but that's not an ethical shot. If you can help it. So it was I learned a lot going up there. First time I hunted with the Garand, first time I hunted in the woods, first time I hunted on the ground, first time I used, second time I used ATVs, but I didn't use an ATV as extensively. Now I actually have a practical use for one. It was just, every time I go hunting, it's a learning experience. I used the same Hornady 240 grain XTP that I used to drop a deer last year, and it worked great. It really did. I used the same load, 20 grains of Alliant 2400, and it worked out really good. So I think I'm going to stick with that powder, and that's one of 3 different bullets that I've used to take deer with. So I think I'm going to use that and the other 2, and just if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But that optic made a world of difference with my older eyes.
Yeah, I think you need to change your name from Squibload to Mag Dump. The second time you had to do a Mag Dump down a deer, man. Come on.
Well, with the first year, I wasn't going home empty-handed. But the deer had holes in it, and it's dead. But I had creased its heart with the first shot that I took on it, but it just was too stupid to realize it was dead. On this, I'm like, well, what? I got nothing to lose. Let's just, So, yeah. See, the thing is with deer hunting, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. For me, it's not enjoyable at all. It's a lot of work. And, to put all that time and money and everything into it, I want to bring something home. So, but the one I got was a doe. It's my first doe. She's not the biggest doe I've seen, but not the smallest either. But it just, I try to take notes every time and try to make mental notes and try to remember what works. I'd still like to go out to the Great Plains and deer hunt where I got to take a long distance shot. That's entirely doable at some point. That would be kind of interesting.
Yeah, with your luck, you'd end up shooting a buffalo.
I don't think they're anywhere but national parks, right?
I'm
I
sure
don't think they're national parks, man.
Well,
Yeah, it's
glad you got a deer.
Yeah, that's cool. I was gonna say it's mostly shotguns around here, man. I know what you're talking about, tight packed woods. Yeah, you around here, you pretty much we don't use blinds. You march the woods, and they'll be hiding in a bush and jump out running.
Well, I'm hoping for late antlerless I can go out to the cornfield again. There's a slight chance I'll go out for muzzle loading, but I would really expect not to have any good results with that.
Yeah, around here you don't see a whole lot of people with the really high-powered rifles, nothing above 308, because there's no point to it.
I'm telling you, the best way to do it around here is use your truck bumper. You could go out any night and get them.
No doubt about that.
So before I jumped in, I was listening to, because I'm about 2 weeks behind on shows, so I've been trying to get caught up, shows and videos. I was listening to your last show, Jason, and you were talking about a Henry Big Boy with a silver finish.
Yeah, we were looking at all the new Henrys.
Yeah. By the way, great show. I'm not done. I have to go back and finish, so no spoilers, but I got to finish listening to it. That's what I took the deer with. That's what I've got. I've got a Big Boy silver and 44 Magnum.
Well, did you see they got the side loading gate now?
Yeah, the thing about the side loading gate is they had it in the X series, and the X series is a pound lighter. And my wife really likes my my 44 Magnum, but her only complaint is how heavy it is. So I thought about getting her an X series.
Oh man, those X series are nice.
Well, it saves weight, right? You still get the 44 Magnum, but it saves weight. The fact that it's got a side loading gate, okay, that's fine. I'm not against side loading gates, but all these people, tube load is crap. It's like, dude, I just think you don't know how to use it. I like the fact that when you go to clear it, you can just pull the tube out and everything drops out. Because when I'm done deer hunting, I clear that rifle. It's I dump the tube, I rack it once, I rack it a second time just to make sure, put the hammer down, she's good to go. So I like the system on the Henry, but I've got 5 deer with that Henry, and it's fun to target shoot with, and I would trust my life with that rifle. It's worth every penny. It's probably my most expensive rifle after I put the mount and the scope and the sling and everything on it. And it's absolutely worth every penny.
Yeah, the thing with the side loading gate versus the tube loading, side loading gate is faster once compare the two of them together. You're going to reload the rifle faster with the Kingsgate. But how many people today are going to be on a wagon train surrounded by hostile Indians where they're going to have to worry about loading a lever action gun super quickly?
See, for me, for hunting, it's going to be an absolutely, I put between 3 and 5 rounds in there, and I don't use all of them. So it's not, typically I don't use all of them, I guess I should say. But so it's not really that big of a deal for me. But at the range, depending on what range I'm at, if I'm in a confined space at the range, having that side gate just to top it off or something like that would be helpful. But I'm so used to using that tube that it's not a big deal. I'm not going to turn it down, but my only concern is that that's more parts that you got to line up just right. Because with a Henry, if you don't line up every part just right, it will not go back together. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. I've actually I put it back together minus one part, and the thing ran. So I found it later. I'm like, oh, that's what that was.
That
But
sounds like Kingpin's buddy and his High Point. Have you heard the story?
Yeah, that's what I thought about.
No. I just know with the Henrys, I've had, or with my Henry, I've had issues taking it apart and putting it back together because it just you have to line everything up just right, or else it just doesn't want to go back together. So if I had that loading gate, that's one more part. I mean, I'm not worried about failures. I'm just thinking that's one more piece I've got to line up. That's all. What happened with the High Point?
Kingpin, after trying to stir up trouble. What happened with the High Point? Him and his buddy were cleaning his, trying to get his High Point carbine apart to clean it. And when they got it all apart, and then once they got it back together, there were parts left over, and the thing still ran.
See, I mean, it's an American-made gun with a lifetime warranty. If something goes wrong, I'm sure they can get some sort of customer support on that.
Yeah, he doesn't know what parts they were. He just knows that there were parts left over after they put the thing back together.
I think he said once there's like screws and stuff left over they didn't put on the inside. And they've been shooting it forever that way.
Yeah. I don't think they ever did figure out where those parts went, he was saying. If he were in here, he could say he has a link. But.
I don't have one, but I heard those things was a real bear to take apart.
What, the Henry Big Boy?
No, that High Point
the
carbine.
High Point.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those are supposed to be a pain in the ass to get apart and put back together.
Yeah, we were going over those Henrys. They got 29 brand new models?
Yeah, 29.
They even got some in 350 Legend and 450 Bushmaster.
Yeah, see, I'd like to get another 44 Magnum for the wife. And then, I don't know, probably 357 for my younger son. My older son's already got the survival rifle. And then, I don't know what I would want next from Henry. Maybe one of their single shots or that 410 shotgun or something, I don't know, something a little bit different.
Well, I would like to get a 22s if they got, just so I could dress it up real nice.
Yeah. Well, Squib, if you're wanting to go out on the plains and go hunting, man, get yourself a Henry Long Ranger. You can get one of them.
That would work, right? Because it's going to be drilled and tapped just like all their other stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's made for long range shooting.
Yeah, maybe that's. It's not like I'm going to get it next year, but I'd rather get my wife and my son one before I get one. But that would actually that would cover that base. I was actually thinking about. I've got a Sporterized Enfield that I'd like to put a scope on and see if I could turn that into something that, I could do 400-yard shots with, no problem.
Yeah, the Long Ranger, I think they got those in a 6.5 Creedmoor. I know they got them in 308. They got them in a 243, I think. And so, you can get a fairly long shot off with those.
Yeah, I've got two people pushing me to get on the 6.5 bandwagon. It's like I'm on the 6.5 Carcano bandwagon. So what I would like is a modern rifle chambered in one of those older military cartridges.
Yeah, I can't think of any. You don't see very many new rifles, if any, that are like in 303 British or 8mm Mauser.
Yeah, not really.
I'm sure you get somebody to custom make one. But,
I'm not going that route. I'm not going that route. I ain't got all that big fancy YouTube money.
That's what I was going to say. It probably costs you an arm and a leg, but I'm sure somebody could do it. You get if you got something that's in, say, 308, all it would take would be somebody to machine a barrel in a different caliber.
Yeah, actually, I've had some people tell me that some of the gunsmithing stuff that I've shied away from is really not that hard to do. So.
Any competent gunsmith should be able to do that. It shouldn't be too hard to take a 308 and convert it to a 303 British.
So another thing I had to do this year that I've never done before is I had to pack the deer in ice for 4 days because it started to warm up, and I said, we got to get back downstate. And we were hauling ass to try to get back before the butcher closed. My buddy said, let me call and see if they'll stay open a couple extra minutes for us. And he calls, and they said, we're full. We're not taking any deer until 11 a.m. on Sunday. And this was Wednesday afternoon. You got to be kidding me. So he says, this is what you do. You put it in the biggest garbage bags you can get, and you put bags of ice inside the cavity of the deer and all around the deer, and you just make sure it stays iced and keep it in your shed. Your shed's made out of plywood. It'll insulate. Just do that. Man, I ain't never tried to stuff a dead body in a trash bag. That was interesting. I got 3 different trash bags. I got one over its ass, one over its hind legs, one over its head and front legs. And I'm packing Ziploc bags full of ice into this thing as tight as I can get it. Then I'm trying to pack them all around this thing. And each day I had to go out there. I bought 22 pounds of ice, 44 pounds of ice each day. So I bought 66 to start. And then the next 3 days I bought 44 pounds each day and just kept adding ice and adding ice and adding ice because I was not letting this meat rot. Because the temperatures at night were in the 30s, but during the day it was in the 40s and 50s. And I would go out there, and if one of the smaller bags started to melt, I'd dump it, just put in some fresh ice, and I just made sure it was all good to go. And when I dropped it this morning, I got there at 10:45, and there were 3 people in front of me. By the time they saw me, there were 15 people behind me backed up down the road. And I said, man, I got here at the right time. I could have butchered it myself. I've done that twice, and it's a pain in the ass. So I just decided I'd go ahead and pay somebody. But I'm thinking that maybe if I got a deep freeze, and then when I brought it home, I just quartered it and put it in the deep freeze and got back and butchered it later at my leisure, then that might be the compromise. So if anybody out there has any experience, does that sound like it's a doable plan, or that's just not going to work?
You talking about putting the whole deer in your deep freezer?
Having a deep freeze big enough that I could quarter the deer and then wrap each of the pieces, say in foil. I could take a Sawzall and just cut the legs at the joint, right? Cut the neck off, or cut off the head right at the top of the neck. Cut the ribs out. Maybe take the back straps off and just cut the torso in half. Man, I sound like I'm at a crime scene here. And
I think I saw this in a movie once.
Yeah.
Well,
and then wrap everything.
For the mob.
Yeah, and then wrap everything in, I'm guessing, foil, right? And then stick it in the deep freeze, and then just pull the pieces out a little here, a little there, and cut them into steaks or grind them, or I don't know.
Coming from a guy that's done this before, yeah, you could quarter that out. I wouldn't necessarily use foil. I would get those great big sheets of saran wrap and saran wrap them up really good, and then take newspaper and wrap the outside of it with the newspaper, and then you can freeze it, and then take it out at your leisure if you want to do steaks or grind it, do ribs, stuff like that. Yeah, you can totally do that. I've done that before.
Okay, I can get the wide rolls of plastic wrap and the butcher paper at Sam's Club. So, all right.
Yeah, no, that works out perfect, because if a guy is pressed for time and he just needs to quarter it out and get it in a deep freeze, that works out perfect.
Yeah, Ghost got the jokes up there. He says he's going to never tried to stuff a dead body in a trash bag. Classic, he says. And then later he wants to know if you learned that technique from Dahmer.
If it'll fit in the trunk, it'll fit in the freezer.
Okay, so I thought Dahmer put them in a barrel of acid.
No, the fridge.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, they were the ones he didn't think were going to taste very good. He threw in acid. The other ones got put in the fridge.
That way you could have them at his leisure.
Mm-hmm.
Now, see, if it had been really cold, if it had been, say 34 or less all day and all night, I would have just hung it in the shed from the hind legs for a couple days, and then gone ahead and quartered it and maybe butchered it, or just taking it down to the butcher at my leisure. But it's unusually warm, and I'm not going to say it's global warming because I don't believe in that horse shit, but it's just like, I think it's just 2020. Everything's gone wrong this year, so even the weather for deer hunting sucked.
Did it snow up there?
A little bit, not as much as I wanted. It did more melting and raining than snowing. But what's interesting is dragging the deer in the snow is a lot easier than not. I couldn't believe how easy it just slid across there, because I've had to drag them over grass and open field, and I'm getting older. It ain't so easy. And of course, tracking is a lot easier in the snow. I thought the snow might help me with as far as the background. Got a light background and the deer's darker, but it really didn't make much of a difference when the light was really low.
Yeah, both Bernie and Snob out there are saying you could just use freezer paper. That's what both of them have done in the past, just use freezer paper.
What's freezer paper?
Basically, it's like butcher paper.
Yeah, you just make sure it's good and dry, and then just wrap. I totally forgot about freezer paper. Then just use the tape, and it's like that white paper that you get like at a regular butcher shop and stuff, and it's kind of that plasticky kind of paper. But yeah, that stuff works really good too.
Okay. Yeah, you said make sure it's really dry. That's because if you don't let it dry out, when you go to butcher it, it's really kind of slimy and it's harder to cut, right?
Yeah, and the meat will get like a livery flavor to it too if it's not. So you don't.
Yeah, you just want to make sure it's good and drained and hung, and all the blood's done dripping out of it before you actually do freeze it, because I've seen some guys where they made the mistake where they field gutted it, quartered it right away, and then just slammed it right in the freezer, and they didn't give it enough time to hang, even just for drainage purposes. And yeah, that'll ruin meat.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what cut of meat it is; it'll taste like liver if you don't get all that blood drained out of there properly.
Yeah, because even if it is on the warmer side, I mean, even if it's in the 40s and 50s, as long as you get that thing, once you get it shot and you get it field dressed and hung, if you can give it at least 5 to 6 hours, just from my experience and from other guys' experience, if you can give it at least 5 to 6 hours hanging to try to get that blood ran out of it, then you're in pretty good shape after that.
All right, I've been told minimum overnight, preferably 3 days.
Yeah, if it's cool enough. I mean, yeah, if you can hang one for a couple of days, if the temperature right, yeah, that's even better. But I mean, if you're really pressed for time where you're like in the 40s and 50s during the day, and then it's like barely freezing at night, like I've had a couple of times in Nebraska up here where it barely got to freezing overnight, hanging in a shed. And during the day, hell, it's got up to the upper 40s to mid 50s during the day, even in the shade. It's still warming up too much. But oh God, when the hell was it? It was back in 2000, 2001 or 2002. And during the day, it was getting into the 60s. And I was afraid it was going to rot out too quick. And I give it 5 or 6 hours hanging. And I was opening up everything. I mean, I had the throat slit and everything, trying to drain the main veins and everything on everything. And hell, it ate just the same. It's just as long as you can get all that blood drained out, you're in good shape.
Any of you guys got a deer head that's mounted?
Yes.
Yep, I got a couple.
Nope.
I'd like to have one round now. I put like a red light bulb in his nose.
You know, that's not a bad idea. I wonder if there's a way I can do that. So that first one I got, the one I did the mag change and the mag dump into between the Henry and the 1911. I put what I put 6 or 7 rounds into it. That one is mounted in my living room. And if I got that 6-point, if I brought that one home, that one would be at the taxidermist.
I did have a 8-point that was mounted, but along with a lot of the other stuff, I don't have it anymore, thanks to my mother. You know, it's one of those things. I mean,
I've never mounted anything I can talk about on air.
I'm sure, Rob. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole. We almost went down enough rabbit holes on Thursday. We don't need to. Of course, if you're just walking in on this chat now, you might think we are down a rabbit hole. No, we're just talking about deer hunting and butchering the deer.
And saws hauling their legs off so you can shut the door.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't get my brother to come on tonight, so we can't do the White Hodge Twins things tonight.
Yeah. Got a good show for you tonight.
We got a damn good show for you tonight. God, those guys are hilarious.
Look at this beard action I got going right now. How am I looking, y'all?
Check out the hat, y'all. Yeah. Freedom, baby.
We're going to give you 20% off. Just use code Chinese Virus because it comes from China.
This comes from China.
And we'll
Man, them guys get a lot of views, man. I wonder how much money they're raking in.
I don't know, but they're, like Pat said, they're freaking hilarious.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you gotta think they've got their own website.
Hell, they ought to have their own TV show.
Official HodgeTwins.com. It's only $2.99 a month. It's like 10 cents a day. It's damn near free.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they do bring up a lot of good points at the same time too. So
yeah, that's kind of like
humor and political stuff. There's not a lot of people that can do that.
Pat, have you watched Ask the Hodge Twins? That's one of their, their other channel. Yeah. I don't know if there's any good points brought up on that channel.
Oh, no. There's all kinds of good points brought up on that show. All kinds.
What the hell are you talking about, man? You crazy.
I mean, good points as far as political things are concerned there, Squibby.
Well, I mean, they're secular. They're branching out here. Now, they started off with what? They started off with fitness, and then they went to some advice, shall we say, and now they're doing politics. But they still do a little bit of both. I mean, they sell the supplements. They got that blue pill you can take. Just leave the nuts hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the muscle twins.
And they're just like you, Squibby. They're Marines. So And it just as crazy.
Yep, eating crayons and the whole 9 yards.
No. They haven't been eating fancy, but they get all that drive-through action, because they're cutting. So.
God. Have you seen the episode of Ladder with Crowder? What? This or was
Where
that?
they did the Christmas Carol one?
No.
Okay.
Where, Crowder had them in his Tesla, driving it.
Nope.
That was freaking.
No, I've never seen that one before.
Oh man, yeah, that was hilarious. He had the two of them in the Tesla. He freaked them out at first because he just like punched it and there was like no noise, and all of a sudden, boom, the car just takes off, and they're like, it throws them back, and they're all freaking out. Then he gets them driving it, and yeah, that was fun. That was hilarious. The reaction.
Yeah, here's something funny. My brother never even heard of the Hodge Twins until Thursday night when y'all brought it up. And my brother, we were at another Thanksgiving this weekend at my mom and dad's, and he goes, "I just wanted to ask you, Pat, who are the Hodge Twins?" And I said, "You don't know who the Hodge Twins are?" And he goes, "No." And I said, so I brought up a bunch of stuff on my phone, and he goes, "Those guys are hilarious." And I was like, yeah, I said, that's why we were the white version of the Hodge Twins. But yeah, he'd never heard of them. And I was like, man, I said, you got to start watching them.
Now, wait a minute. I mean, to be fair, the Hodge Twins are half white. I mean, they're actually 58% black, so they barely made the cut.
This is true.
Yeah, there is that, but I still count them.
Yeah. And of course, you got half Asian lawyer Bill Richmond, who is probably the best lawyer on the planet right now. He's the Perry Mason of half Asian lawyers.
A half Asian lawyer? Is that something special?
No, he's half Asian.
Yeah, but I mean, does that give him some sort of advantage as a lawyer?
No, because he doesn't do a lot of math.
Oh, okay. I mean, I got a Jewish lawyer, but
But this guy is continuously beating down YouTube every time they try and pin something on Crowder. He's got to be the best lawyer in the country right now. He has not lost the case against YouTube yet. Christ, he got Crowder remonetized, for Christ's sake.
Don't forget about Quarter Black Gary.
Yeah.
You know what's great about stuff like that? They make fun of it, whereas other people make it the hill they want to die on. And the reality is, at the end of the day, we need some more humor. We need some more comedy, some more laughter. And if you can't laugh at yourself, who can you laugh at? So based on the way you're just talking about it, it sounds to me like these are kind of character names that they kind of come up with themselves or something. I'm taking it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's good. I think that's good because, that's instead of turning it into a crutch so you can play victim, somebody's turning it into something that makes somebody laugh and smile and maybe makes their day,
Yeah. Bill Richmond, when he's on Crowder, he's always making Asian jokes, at his own expense or his family's expense and stuff. He's hilarious. Not only is he a lawyer, he's absolutely freaking hilarious too.
Yeah, he is. I try to catch every episode just because some of the humor and stuff that comes out of that is just absolutely hilarious. And what you were kind of talking about there, Squib, if you can make fun of that stuff, it kind of doesn't give that any more power as far as like racism and stuff, because just like what Eddie Murphy and all those comedians in the 80s and the 90s, they used to joke about that stuff all the time.
and it didn't
Well,
give it any
you've
power. It was
got-
almost like they laughed it into the grave.
You've got these soft people that want to call that stuff hate speech, and they want to make it like it's against them. They want to be a victim. They're self-victimizing them instead of going, you know what? Stereotypes, they're based on reality, or we can all laugh at this. We can all have fun. I don't know if you've ever gone to see Andrew Dice play in concert, but he doesn't let anybody out of the room he doesn't just pick on one person. He goes right around the room and everybody. Doesn't matter what color, what gender, how you're dressed, whatever it is, where you're sitting in. He just goes around and that's the thing. I mean, there's something funny about everybody or every stereotype or every group or every time in history or every country or whatever it is. And it's okay to laugh at that, but you've got these sensitive people. Oh no, you're picking on me. Oh my, you know what, dude? Just go away. Nobody has time for you. And the thing about it is, sometimes if you're trying to break the ice, or sometimes if you just want to fit in, maybe making fun of yourself is how you start off. Look at some of these comedians. They will tear on themselves or their family or whatever when they do their bit. When they're tearing on other people, famous people, or what's going on in the news, whatever, they'll tear on themselves too. And that's just it. You've got to be able to dish it out and take it. And sometimes if you take something too far, you can have a conversation with somebody and be like, all right, man, I won't talk about that anymore. Or too soon or something else like that. But there are just too many people that take something that's genuinely meant to take that power away from this negative thing and keep trying to flip it and turn it into that negative thing. And nobody has time for those people.
Yeah, the snowflakes, if Mel Brooks tried making Blazing Saddles today, would not get the joke and would try and throw him in a gas chamber. And yes, I used that imagery for a reason.
Oh yeah, no doubt. But you could not make anything like Blazing Saddles or any kind of satire like that nowadays, because if you're on social media, you just be done. And that's what really pisses me off, because I loved a lot of those old movies and stuff like that. And getting back to Squibby's point there, if you can't laugh at yourself, then who the hell can you laugh at?
Do you guys think that the first time I talked about getting the deer, I told you about the mag dump and the mag chain because I thought that it made me sound cool? No, I was picking on myself, and now it's become a running joke. Sometimes it gets a little annoying, but I only can blame myself because I never had to tell a soul. The simple fact is, and look at my name. My name is Squib Load. Okay, I'm picking on myself because I destroyed a $200 barrel by plugging three bullets down there. When I first got into reloading, I made some squibs. So if you can't make fun of yourself, who can you make fun? I mean, it's just, but people don't look at it. They want to be hurt. They want to be victimized. They just play the whole sensitive card and the whole victim card. It's like, dude, just really whatever. Have a little fun.
Well, if you can convince everybody you're a victim, then it justifies you being an underachiever, and everybody should just help you out and give you another chance or crap.
You know what, Rob? That's a great point. That really kind of quantifies the reasoning, behind that sort of behavior. Seems
that way from experience, people I've seen throughout my life. So it's, I guess, used as a crutch for sympathy, I guess, is a shorter way of putting it.
Exactly. You hit the nail right on the head with that whole statement right there, Rob. It's people don't have to have accountability then, period, for anything they do. It's like, oh, I'm a big... It's just like, you know what? No. Get up, stand up, take ownership. There it is.
Yeah, see, there you go. Take ownership. And you know what? Here, with equality of opportunity in this country, you can. But the whole being offended and self-victimization, that's part of that whole equality of outcome, which has never been what America is about.
Yeah, Kingpin out there a few minutes ago said he has a cousin named Vinny, and he never lost a case either. I didn't know Kingpin was being played by Ralph Macchio.
Yeah, he's one of the two Utes in the case.
The two Utes.
Two Utes.
Yeah,
What's
the
a
two Utes.
What's a Ute?
I like that movie because they kept talking about a 64 Buick Skylark, and I used to have a 64 Buick Skylark.
What was the other one? A Pontiac Tempest?
Tempest.
Yeah.
Was that where they had to say, which one had posi traction and which one didn't?
Yep.
Yeah, which one had independent rear suspension?
Yeah, which one had the positive traction, which one had the independent suspension, yeah. Because that was the evidence that cleared them.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I'm done. Go ahead.
I was going to say that I thought that was one of Joe Pesci's funniest friggin' movies.
That's because it was. Other than what one was it? Lethal Weapon 2, I think he was in. The first one of those that he was in.
Oh, no. His best movie was Home Alone.
Oh, man. Leo Getz, man. Leo Getz was freaking hilarious. His character in that movie. Whatever Leo wants, Leo gets. He was so damn annoying, it was hilarious.
Okay.
That was pretty good.
He was like an extroverted monk from the show Monk. It's the exact opposite.
They fuck you at the drive-through.
Yeah, they fuck you at the ATM. They fuck you. Like, he just goes on a long rant about everybody fucking somebody somehow. Oh man.
Yeah, Lethal Weapons was good movies. I happen to have my Lethal Weapon Beretta right here.
Yeah, at least the first two.
Yeah, that's why you like it.
Yeah, man, that's why I went and bought my first Berettas, because of like Die Hard and Lethal Weapon.
9mm Beretta, 15 in the magazine, one up the pipe, wide ejection port, no feed jams. Guess we're gonna have to register you as a lethal weapon.
Yeah, look at
But actually, he said more about his martial arts and other things like that too. So, but yeah, I kind of cut that one short. But he's like, "Well, what do you carry? 4-inch Smith? Oh yeah, old timers carry that." And then in the second movie, Joe Pesci's there going, "Oh, let me see. Oh, an old timey real gun. I'm sorry, I ain't seen one of those in forever. I bet you the kid got an automatic."
Yeah, but the kid's got an automatic. Yep, look, Beretta. Oh man.
Look, I got a special bullet, a hollow point, so it blows the back of my fucking head off.
Mm-hmm.
You ever seen Loaded Weapon? Now there's a good movie.
Mm.
Oh, Samuel L. Jackson and Emilio Estevez.
Is that Detective Holt and Detective Luger?
Yeah, Misdemeanor.
And General Motors? I don't. What is it? Do you know a General Motors? Well, I drive a Buick.
They shot up the camper on the beach from the helicopter, and it was Bruce Willis. It was the wrong address. Shit, that was funnier than hell.
Oh, I forgot about that part. That part was hilarious.
Bruce Willis is like, nah, 316 that way. No problem. No problem.
Okay, so what's everybody's favorite Die Hard movie?
Probably the first one.
Yeah, I like the first one, and I don't know what number it was. Is that number 2 or number 3? Where they were in New York and they had the bombs, and
That was 3.
that was 3. Yeah, I like that one.
The one with Jeremy Irons and Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, I didn't care for that. 2 was when he was on the airplane, wasn't it?
Yeah. And the bad guy was the dad from Good Times.
His wife was on the airplane, and he was at the airport when they. Yeah, when they cut all the lines and everything and basically hijack the communications.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then what's everybody's favorite lethal weapon?
2 is pretty good.
1 and 2 are about equal. The other 2 I didn't care about, but yeah, 1 and 2 I have a hard time picking between the 2 of them.
I would have to agree with that. 1 and 2 is pretty hard.
I can't remember. They all kind of blur together. Same with the other one.
What, there was more than one?
Favorite movie parodying other movies?
Again, Loaded Weapon's pretty good. Airplane's pretty good.
Maybe Spaceballs? Maybe?
Tropic Thunder's pretty good.
Well, Tropic Thunder didn't really parody a movie so much as
Nah.
it parodied a war.
Special Johnny.
It's my special
Hey
kid.
man, you don't ever go full retard.
Never go full retard. Speaking of movies that probably couldn't get made today, even though it's only, 10 years old, something like that? Good Lord.
Well, I don't know about parodies, man. Loaded Weapon's a good one.
Yeah.
Hot Shots.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Dracula Dead and Loving It? That was good. I like that one. Parody of Dracula movies.
And Airplanes was pretty good.
Anything with Leslie Nielsen in it was pretty good.
Surely You Can't Be Serious.
Yes, I'm serious, and don't call me Shirley.
Roger.
Oh, Moo's
over.
out there. Look at the chat. Spaceballs is one. Quest for the Holy Grail, yes.
Monty Python, Holy Grail. I don't know if that was a parody so much as just comedy. Spy Hard, yeah, that was another one. Another Leslie Nielsen movie.
Well, was the Naked Gun, is that a parody of like Dragnet or something?
Naked Gun was just a parody of police shows, period. It was based on a TV show.
Oh, it was like off Police Squad or something.
Yeah, Police Squad. That's why it was Naked Gun from the Files of Police Squad. First one. Looks like I picked the wrong day to stop sniffing glue. It says Moo. But Moo always says that. And whenever Airplane comes up, Moo, that's like Moo's favorite line from that movie.
All right, boys, let's take some pictures.
What about that the pilot there and stuff? Hey, Jimmy, you ever seen a grown man naked?
Yeah.
You like gladiator movies?
Yeah, what made that even funnier was that Peter Graves was known as a serious film actor. And what made Leslie Nielsen's lines funnier too at that point in time was the fact that he too was known as a serious actor. Neither one of them had done comedy before.
You remember when they put on autopilot and like a blow up pilot doll came out and it grabbed that girl by her boobs and then the doll had like a smile on his face and shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's all time classic funny stuff.
Yeah, at the end of the movie, it's just him, and then you see a girl blow up doll thing at him that looked like him in the seat next to him, and he winks and they start flying away.
Yeah, that was from the moon base or wherever it was from where they crash landed.
No, I'm talking about in the first movie. That was at the end of the first movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he backs the plane out of the airport and they start taking off. Another good one. I don't know if
That
you
was
guys-
a good one too. Remember the dude had a drinking problem? He'd take the drink and just throw it on his shirt.
Yeah. Have you guys seen An American Carol? That was a good one too. That was done by the same people that did Airplane. It had Chris Farley's brother in it. Or was it his cousin? I can't remember if it was Chris
I've
Farley.
never seen that one before. When did that come out?
The Christmas An American Carol, that came out. Good Lord, when did that come out? Christ, I don't remember, but it has John Voight in it playing George Washington. Bill O'Reilly's in it playing himself. But it makes fun of the left so bad. It is freaking hilarious. Of course, the critics didn't like it because it makes fun of the left. But it is a funny movie. Yeah, but Uplift, it's not a parody of movies so much as it's a parody of the story of King Arthur. We're specifically talking about movies that are parodying other movies. I guess there's one scene where they parody the movie Camelot, but that was about it. Can't think of any other actual movie parodies that are in the movie.
Okay, I'll throw this one to Squibby since we're doing movie stuff. In your eyes, what is the best betrayal of Marines in any movie?
Heartbreak Ridge.
I
And
hope
Full
you
Metal
say
Jacket.
that. What was the second one?
Full Metal Jacket is closer to what boot camp's really like, but Heartbreak Ridge is kind of what it's like, you know, when you're not in boot camp afterward, I guess.
Yeah, that was a damn good movie. I don't think that one got enough praise. Because, man, I've got that one, and I'll pop that one in every once in a while. Love Clint Eastwood.
You old fucking Marine warhorse.
So you know why they ended up being a Marine movie?
Why is that, Squib?
They took it to the Army and they said, we would like your help making this movie about this Army vet from Korea who's divorced and about to retire, and he's a drunk and all this other stuff. And the Army said, we don't want that representing the Army. So they took it over to the Marines and they said, we'll do it. We'll do it. So Stoney Jackson, Sergeant Major Chusu, and Gunny Highway were all in the Army in Korea, fought at the Battle of Heartbreak Ridge in the Army, won their medals of honor in the Army, and then, well, really, Gunny Highway, I think, was the only one that won the Medal of Honor. And then later, all three of them enlisted in the Marine Corps, and they make a very slight reference to it in the beginning of the movie. And that was, well, not really in the beginning. I think it was more towards the middle. And that's how they were able to kind of transition it, because I do believe there was a real battle, Heartbreak Ridge or something like that in Korea, but the Marines weren't there. So it's kind of interesting how that worked out. And you know, they're showing Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. All that was shot on Camp Pendleton. It looks entirely different.
Huh, I didn't know that. That's kind of neat to know.
Yeah, the Army didn't want it, so the Marine Corps said, yeah, we'll take it. Nowadays, probably not. They're all so damn PC, it makes me sick.
Colitis, cojones, prophylactic. Smells like a Bengay factory. Right face, forward, march.
That's about it. That's pretty good.
That's one of the better ones I've heard.
was weak.
Rob just has to
Thanks,
be
Rob.
contrary to everybody else.
If I could get my dad to do it, he sounds exactly like him.
I don't know. I don't know the movie, but I'm just thinking back to but that's weak. If you're not feeling it, then you're not saying it loud enough.
Then he come in there and say, I've drank more beer, banged more quim, and pissed more blood than any of you numbnuts put together.
I like Stitch Jones. He goes, man, he's lucky I didn't kick his ass. Yeah, I gave him a rebate on his life. You remember Stitch Jones? The Ayatollah of rock and rolla? The Earl of
Yeah.
Punk? Duke of Cool?
Yeah. Yo, man, wait till Swede gets out of jail.
Mind over matter. We no longer mind because you no longer matter.
What's your evaluation of the situation, Gunny? It's a clusterfuck. Excuse me? Clusterfuck. Got men over here having to fill out request forms for equipment they should already have. Interesting. Then later after the Marine Corps ball, hey, Gunny, seen any clusterfucks lately?
That wasn't too bad, Squib.
I might send you home with just pump the neighbor cat look on your face.
I don't want to get dropped in a hot LZ just because you can't habla. Comprende?
Don't think we'll be taking cold showers together.
Into the wee hours of the morning, holding hands.
Y'all might as well just go out of town, have some drinks, make fools of yourselves, rub it up against Mary Jane, rotten crotch, or the not holding a neighbor's fence. I don't care which. Come on, 600 tomorrow. Your ass is mine.
So did we mutually assure each other?
Panther piss.
I forgot it.
Oh, Panther piss.
That was a hilarious movie.
Oh, look at all these magazines like Woman's Day and all this. Are these yours? No, somebody must have left those there.
Remember the bar owner? It's like, I'll be taking her home tonight, as usual.
Oh, these were just sitting on the front seat. They must be Chuzus.
Bullshit. Chuzu doesn't know how to read.
Urinating on a police vehicle seemed like the thing to do at the time.
There's a lot of good quotes from that movie. Well, the sun ain't shining in the men's room.
So which one do you think's got more better lines, more gooder lines? Heartbreak Ridge or Full Metal Jacket?
Oh man, it's a tough call. It's a tough call. I mean, you got the door gunner scene in Full Metal Jacket. That is priceless. I mean, it's priceless. How can you shoot women and children? Easy. Just don't lead them so much.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't wrong.
Yeah, that was probably one of the one of the better ones in that, and that'd be a hard call between Heartbreak Ridge and Full Metal Jacket.
No soul brother, Tubuku. Oh man,
Arlie Ermy in that, man, is just a classic, man. Every single thing he said.
who's the
Yeah,
dumb
and actually,
motherfucker
he
to
was-
sign his own death warrant?
Yeah. Who's the communist dwinkle-toed cocksucking son of a bitch that said that?
Have you seen the where they take all of that from Full Metal Jacket and they put it over the Rudolph cartoon?
No.
Full Metal Christmas or Full Metal Rudolph. It is hilarious because like they're in the workshop, you know, the elves, and Timmy wants to be the dentist and stuff. Like the head elf kicks in the door and stuff. Well, they put that on there. Who's the numbnuts that just signed their own death warrant? Shit. And he's down there messing with that Timmy and shit. He's like, hell, I like you. You can come home, fuck my sister.
That's a rough Rudolph Christmas right there.
Yeah, it's funny. They match it up through all of it. Like, give me your war face and everything. Yeah, that Rudolph cartoon matches right up to it, man. It's hilarious.
Private Pile, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? A jelly donut, sir. A jelly donut.
You're a disgusting fat body pile. One goddamn push-up. You mean to tell me you can't do one fucking push-up? Or pull-ups or whatever you're doing.
We had a guy in boot just like that. We called him the Eggman. Yeah, he ended up making it out of there, and I saw him at School of Infantry a couple months later. He had lost the weight and everything. I mean, an entirely different person. But we actually had two guys that were like that, but one of them looked a little bit more like Gomer Pyle. But they come up with names for you. And they find, you know, what they can to tear you down and build you back up. And in that sense, you kind of saw that in Full Metal Jacket. Some people might just be looking at it as just they're strictly ridiculing. But I mean, if you can't handle that, how are you going to handle being a prisoner of war or whatnot? So in the same sense, it's got great one-liners and you can laugh at it and stuff like that. I mean, that's sort of what really went on. I never saw any of the drill instructors try to impersonate Hartman, but we had some scenarios that were similar. I think they all kind of had their own thing, so they really didn't need to do that. But I mean, Arlie Ermy was a drill instructor, so he was the technical advisor to the movie. Then he stole the role from the guy who was going to be the drill instructor, who's also a Marine but was never a drill instructor. And I think he did a great job with it. He really did portray it well.
He played what he knew. No.
Yeah, well, in one of the interviews that I watched with Arlie Ermy, when he was just the technical advisor, he was saying to Stanley Kubrick, he said, this guy's too sadistic. He says, this is pushing it way too far. He says they wouldn't do this or that. And he kept critiquing, and Stanley finally just give him the role. And he goes, well, just get in there and do what they would do. And he pretty much played it to a T back in the day, from what I've been told from, you know, veterans and everything of that era. So yeah, I think he knocked it out of the park as far as what he did, just from what I've heard from veterans.
I will tell you this. We didn't have that much engagement with our senior drill instructor as much as we had with the other 4 drill instructors. So that's not to say senior wasn't around, but he was like the dad. You'd be up on the quarterdeck getting bent, and they'd be making you yell as you're doing push-ups or side saddle hops or whatever. Senior, save me, senior! And he'd come out of the duty hut, get the hell off my quarterdeck, and you'd go back to your post. And as soon as he went back in, they'd call you back out on the quarterdeck, and they'd be, Senior, save me. He'd come out, what did I tell you? Get off my quarter. And they were just playing mind games with us. And they're probably laughing about it. But and that's about the only thing that I didn't think was as realistic. But, I mean, I don't really think they wanted to have 5 different drill instructors, and now you got 5 different characters to understand. They just wanted to focus on the senior drill instructor.
Yeah, and getting to back to you get somebody who knows the rule because they lived it to play it. Robert Downey Jr. was asked once what made him so good at playing Tony Stark. He said, if you want to get you want somebody to play an egotistical drunk, you get an egotistical drunk to play him. Talking about himself and, from the problems he had when he was younger. So, yeah, I mean, if you want somebody to play a part right, get somebody that actually lived it.
Well, look at, I'm drawing a blank on his name. Dirty Dozen. Lee Marvin. He played a scene where at the beginning of the movie, he was in World War I, but that was actually something that happened to him in real life in World War II. So he's reenacting something for the movie as far as being wounded.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, you hit the nail right well. And it's just like, who was the... Now I'm drawing a blank. The war hero that came back and did his own movie.
Audie Murphy.
Yes.
Audie Murphy,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Played himself in his own movie. I mean, who are you going to get to do it any better? I mean, it's you can't get away from experience from somebody that was there and actually did it. Speaking of old war movies,
we did that a couple weeks ago.
What's that?
So we did that a couple weeks ago.
Oh. Well, you guys remember when the History Channel ran snipers? That series on snipers?
Yeah, I remember that.
Vietnam vet
Carlos Afcock?
No, it was the one that took the M14 with Starlight scope down to the river.
Pulled the trigger 12 times that night, and 12 NVA floated down the river.
Yeah, wasn't his name? I know he's U.S. Army. Doggone it, I'm drawing a blank. I want to say his name's Charles or something. I might have that. I might be wrong on that.
Chuck Mowini. That's who it is.
There you go.
Mowini.
Yep, Chuck. Yep.
And they tried to recreate the shot just from static balloon targets. And the sniper got all but one. And Chuck Mowini got, I think it was like between 12 and 14. It was whatever he had in the clip. Because he ran he ran the magazine clear out.
Yeah, I think he had 20. He had 20 rounds. It's an M14.
Yeah, and he ran it out. And what did he say? He said rule number 1 of a sniper, he says, never shoot more than once from your hide. And he shot like I don't know.
Yeah, so what he said was they figured out what direction he was shooting from, and they started shooting in his direction, and they could see the AK rounds ricocheting off the riverbank. They were walking them up to him, but they managed to get out of there before anything happened.
Yeah, because he basically walked the rest of the group up over the bank on the other side because every time he pulled the trigger, there was a floating body. going down there, and yeah, he was in a pretty good position because he was on the bank on the other side, just over the berm. So yeah, that I always thought that was a really good one.
On occasion, they'll do non-standard work, but typically they wouldn't want to put themselves in that sort of position, you know.
Right, because most of his targets were between 25 to 75 yards away, coming through the river on that. So he was point of aim on that old Starlight, and he just bang, next target, bang, next target, bang, and just woof.
Just prolonged silence.
Be nice.
Okay.
Be nice if I could use Starlight optics to hunt deer, but that's not legal.
Yeah, that's a little bit illegal.
Right.
You could do it for
Oh man, I tell you what, you look on the trail cams, they're out all night. They're out all night. It's like, I'm not going to go out there and risk going to prison to get some stupid animal, but it just kind of like, if you're on private property, I don't see what the big deal is. State land, maybe, but private property?
Go hog hunting. You can do that at night.
Coyote.
There's no feral hogs here in Michigan. They say there are, but I've talked to lots of guys who've been hunting for decades. Nobody's ever seen any.
I didn't say do it in Michigan. I said go hog hunting. You can do that at night. Other states that have.
I mean, could go to Harpoon Harry's and do some hogging. Oh wait, that's a different kind of hunting.
Coyote. You hunt coyote at night in most states. I don't know about Michigan.
Yeah,
Like,
you can here down in Nebraska. Me and a buddy, we do that. He's got a 6.5 Creedmoor, and I got a 22-250, and we do that down here. And but we've also got a problem this year because I've got coyotes running up both sides of my house.
Yeah, you just need an AR-15 for a coyote. Christ.
Well, I almost shot coyote this week. When I shot that doe and I walked out to where it was so I could leave a footprints in the snow for us to find, I left the Henry in the blind and just went out there with my sidearm. And as I'm walking back, I can hear two of them. I mean, there's two distinct calls, and it wasn't that far away. And that's when I pulled out the 1911 and I chambered one. And I said, "Come on in," But they didn't come in. But they knew. They knew I shot a deer, and they knew it was dinner time. So they're bold.
Oh yeah, you get them in a pack, especially in a pack. The coyote individual, they're cowards. They'll run from you. In a pack, they don't run from shit.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you guys a little story. Here about a week and a half ago, I live right on a river bottom, and I had a pack. They were so loud outside of my front window, and I live right beside a gravel road, and on the other side of the gravel road is an alfalfa field, and then there's the river about 200 yards away. And they were so loud that I had to stop my phone and wonder what the hell was going on outside. Went out there with my spotlight and my 9mm carbine and just shined the light all the way across the alfalfa field, and I saw 6 sets of eyes just scanning left to right across that son of a gun. And I popped off a couple rounds, and there was probably about as many already turning back towards the wood line, heading back towards the trees when I scanned. So, yeah, when they get a pack, they're definitely emboldened for damn sure.
We have lots and lots and lots of them here. When the trains go by, you can just hear them howl around here. Up and down the whole roads for miles. They do not like the train that comes by through here. But yeah, you can walk outside here and 2 or 3 will go split in different directions between your house and your pickup truck.
And the sound of a gunshot doesn't necessarily scare them away either.
They have like a big coyote hunts here. I've seen the pictures, and they pile them up like sandbags, man. They get like 300 a weekend around here.
Yeah, they don't run. They won't. If they're in a pack, they won't run from even a gunshot. Won't scare them off. You got to start downing them before they get the idea that this is somebody we don't want to mess with. I've been in that situation. That's not a fun situation to be in.
There's a few places around here you can buy their pelts already done up, cleaned up. Yeah, even like my gun dealer's got a dozen of them hanging.
Yeah, a lot of states have bounties on them. You turn in one of their ear off, and one of them get so much money per ear.
Yeah, we do there's 2 great big coyote hunts for coyote calling here in Nebraska, and we stack them up like cordwood here after they do the coyote calls. And I've been in on a couple, especially last year. I really got to hunting with the green and red lights off of the scopes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
they can't see the green.
How many? What's that?
I said they can't see the green light, so the green light is really good for hunting coyote.
Yeah, the red or the green on that, and it doesn't affect them none because you can do the scans with the with your spotlight with the red or green lens on it, and it doesn't affect them any. Then once they get in close enough, you just turn on the light on top of your scope, and once they get in about 100, 150 yards, and my friend that we went coyote hunting several times with last year with the call with the mojo on top of it, and we probably had 6 to 7 come in on one call sitting at one time, and there was only 2 of us. So yeah, we were bang 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 just back and forth. We got 3 out of that, just out of that 7 that came charging in on that.
If you need a weapon light for hunting vermin type critters at night, you want a green light's going to be your best bet because most of them can't see the green light. To them, it'll still be just as dark as it was before you turned that light on. And in West Virginia, coyote are considered to be vermin, so you can shoot as many of them as you want, no license.
Yeah, here you can have any hunting license. You can even have a fishing license, and you can shoot them. As far as I know, year round as varmints, but you got to have the base license is $11.
Yeah, you don't even need that for coyote. You don't even need a basic hunting license. Anything that's a varmint, you don't need a hunting license for in West Virginia.
Yep, that's the same way it is here in Nebraska too. You can, if it's underneath that varmint class, just take it out.
Yeah, the coyotes get my friends' chickens and birds and shit all the time. And peacocks, and they lose stuff all the time. One time we took chicken coops after they got raided, but we built new chicken coops, and we built them, I don't know, about eye level off of the side of the garage. Built them all out 2x4s and everything, put them up high like that. And within a couple of days, the coyotes straight ripped them clean off of the garage.
Dead Horse is saying coyotes can see the green light. I've never had them react to a green light when I was using it. I don't know. Maybe they just didn't give a shit.
No, I've never had them react to a green or a red light around here. So I don't know.
Yeah, he says red's the best one for a coyote. like I said, I've never had them react to a green light being turned on them. A white light or a blue light, they're looking right at you. But I've shown a green light on them and never saw them move.
I had a dog that was half husky and half coyote. It was one of the best dogs I ever had.
Don't got a dog to try it on right now, so I'll take your word for it. But I'm just saying, with my experience, I've never had the coyote react to the green light. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying, I don't know. Maybe just got lucky. Strange things happen, so who knows? But,
well, it works the same on Bobcat too. You can do that with Bobcat at night too, and they never react. But
cats can see Keller, which makes that even weirder. Cats don't have the same Keller thing that dogs have. Cats can actually see a wide range of Kellers.
Rods and cones.
Yeah.
Yeah, and see, that's the weird thing is when we got set up last year in this old creek bottom, there was already one in a tree probably about 35 yards away from us, and my buddy always carries a shotgun with him too, and he blasted a bobcat that came down out of a tree. He watched it come down out of the damn tree and start walking up towards the damn call that was probably about 20, 25 yards out in front of us. We were kind of nestled up in some trees right up off the creek, and he watched it the whole damn time with the green light on it, all walking up towards the damn call.
Yeah, Bernie brings up a good point about on the light thing. He says his dog can see a laser. Yeah, that depends on the dog breed. There's certain breeds that can, and there's others that can't. I know pit bulls can. You can play with a pit bull with a laser like you would with a cat. It's funny watching the dog chase a laser. I know that from when my daughter had her pit bull pup before she gave it to the couple who was breeding pit bulls, and their one female died, so she gave the dog to them so that they could use her to keep their breeding business going. But yeah, she would go nuts playing with that damn laser just like a cat.
I got to see a bald eagle today.
Did you?
Were you at the Toledo Zoo?
No, there's 4 or 5 nests that I drive by about every day, and this evening there's one of them. If you're in the daytime when I'm going south, the way the trees are, you can't see it, but on the way back going north, you can see it. And when I got to that spot, I went over and looked, and you can clearly see it. Its nest be right here, and then there's like a tree with some dead branches and empty branches, and it'll sit on the top right there. It overhangs a river.
Yeah, we get quite a bit of them down here on the Republican during the winter when stuff freezes up.
Yeah, I look for them every day as I drive.
Yeah, they're always around down here. I've actually got some pretty good pictures of some. I'll have to dig them up and show you guys some night because they're just. We've got a river bridge just like right beside my house over here that crosses, and they're always sitting in the trees just on either side, and got some pretty good pictures of them. So I always see them down here during the wintertime.
We're going to have to start wrapping this up because Midnight's got his links out there. But yeah, if you guys haven't seen a pit bull go crazy in a good way, get a laser out and play with the pit. If you know somebody that has one, to play with it with the laser and watch that dog freak out. Used to scare the hell out of our cats when playing with the laser with them, and all of a sudden the dog who was like 5 times their size would come running in chasing the laser. It was hilarious watching the cats just scatter in fear. as this dog just goes rampaging around trying to get this laser. It's hilarious. Anyway, with that said, Jason, you got anything you want to plug or anything? Any words of wisdom you want to leave people with? Anything along those lines?
Well, thanks for the invite. Congrats on the new computer. Hope that works out good for you. And I'm probably going to try to do a show Thursday night. So everybody take care, and I'll see you around.
Alrighty. What about you, Pat?
Oh, just thanks for having me on, and everybody out in there in the chat. Go see everybody's channel and everything, and yeah, hopefully the world doesn't get any more crazy than what it is now. But if it does, hopefully you're have your weapon, and hopefully you're keeping yourself and your family safe. And yeah, thanks for having me on tonight. Enjoyed it.
Yep, no problem. What about you, Squid? Got anything coming up? Any words you want to leave people with?
I just appreciate the invite to the show. I open the factory on Sunday nights. I'm there for 3 hours unless there's a problem. So had you for at least half of that. So just appreciate the opportunity to jump on the show. Thanks, Rich.
Yep, no problem. And remember, I don't know what, just remember what? That's up to you. And we'll see you next week, folks. You have a good one.
Stay safe. Carry your weapon.
Pay it forward.